Why is it flipped? Do. Hey there. Yeah, but we might have to restart this. It is flipped, and I don't know why. This is odd. Let me see what I can do here. Yeah. Can you guys see this? Is it backwards? Like, is the image flipped? Chat will let me know, I'm sure. It's not flipped. Like, you can read this normal, right? This is a new setup for me, so I just want to make sure it's okay. Because on my video, it is 100% flipped. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Jaylash. No, yes. All right, let me make this a little bit easier. Does this say Casio, or does this say Casio backwards? Okay, cool. I don't know why. On the Creator Studio, it's completely backwards, so it's all good. It's probably because I'm using a webcam, so it thinks I'm pointing it at my face. We're good. We're good. All right, guys. This is a very informal, impromptu go live here. So this is the Anbernic RG35XX. So this is the new little, I want to say lower end, lower priced handheld that Anbernic is releasing here. They're just about to go on sale here, correct? Since I was the first one on the team to get a demo unit, I figured I would just kind of show it around, show what it can do. First thing I want to say is it comes with, all the standard Anbernic stuff. So there's you got your manual. Mine came with an SD card, no second SD card though, right? And this little box has a, let's get that open. Come on. USB-C cable in there, USB-A to USB-C. So all standard stuff. It came with a screen protector. However, I'm pretty good at putting on screen protectors, just like the Miu Mini, and we'll get into that, right? This has kind of a beveled edge to the screen. It's not an aggressive bevel, but it's just enough. Sorry about the zoom there. It's just enough that it doesn't really work, right? So I put it on, and it had all those bubbles around the edges, so I just ripped that thing off and threw it away. Before we turn it on, though, I want to go over a couple things. Mine did not come with a secondary SD card, but it does have that external SD slot for ROMs. So I loaded up just a couple games on an SD card here. It comes with some games already on the main SD card, but I wanted to show some stuff that's a little harder to emulate. Same trigger setup as the 353V. Smaller overall package by just a little bit. Smaller buttons. No analogs, obviously. Let me actually... I think I have the 353V right here. There it is. So you can tell it's a little bit smaller. The screen is roughly the same size. You just can't see the bezel because it's turned off, but it's roughly around the same size. D-pad is a little bit skinnier. Buttons are a little bit smaller. Obviously, no analogs, and it's just a little bit shorter. The back is roughly the same. I think those are actually the same buttons and everything. So you can kind of see the difference there. I know there was a question in there asking if this is a competitor to the Miu Mini or their take on a Miu Mini. I would say no. The Miu Mini, I don't have one because I'm not a fan of that device. Mine died twice. So I would say the Miyoo Mini is probably like this. Like it's a solid 3/4 of the size of this, if not smaller. So this is much closer to the 353V size, like a Game Boy Color or something, but a little shorter. So that's it on that. Let's boot it up and see what it does, right? So let me get this out of the way. Oh, before I boot it up, buttons and stuff. These feel fine. Fairly normal buttons. These are hard plastic. They're not squishy like a Game Boy or anything. Has a menu button. On the side, you've got a power and reset button, your 2 SD card slots. On the other side, just a volume rocker. USB-C and an audio jack on the top. Has HDMI out. I won't be testing this today just because I don't have the setup near my computer. But yeah, let's get this booted up here. Video quality is probably not amazing. I'm just using kind of a backup webcam on my gaming computer, so let me make sure it can focus in. Let me see if I can get that lighting fixed a little bit for you guys. If not, I might have to go to a backup option. Hold on. See if this cuts it down a bit. Nope. Try this. Forgive me, folks. This is just super impromptu. We're going to edit this out a little bit here. There we go. So the backlight brightness helped a little bit. Let's pull that back up. All right. So it should be a little bit easier to see there. We will have a video of a review of this that'll show a little bit more. Stubbs, I believe, is going to be doing the first big, initial impressions review. So you'll see a little bit better on there, but I'm going to leave this down. This is the lowest brightness. It's actually quite low in real life here, but with the camera setup I have, it looks just about right. It looks like it has 5 levels of brightness. This is honestly not that bright in real life, but for the price of the device being, what, like $50 right now, I'm not that worried about it. So here's your UI. You've got what's called game rooms, which is just your games. You can log your favorites, your history. It has a search function. I have not played with that. And then, of course, your settings, which has a few different things that you can test in there, as well as this button sound. Like you can set up all different kind of theme things. Like there's different themes for the buttons. So the defaults, it's these cool Android-looking ones. Those are neat. I don't know why, but it has a bunch of Angry Bird logos. That's kind of cool, if that's your thing. So a couple different options they have on there. Actually, there's 9 different themes, and some of them actually look pretty decent. And it comes with a couple different background images. Those might be harder to see, but well, we won't be going through the pictures too much here, or the noise is too much. All right, so I have the external card in here. So it says external card and built-in card. The built-in card comes with some games already pre-installed here. which I'm going to show off. Again, I know that the video quality is not going to be a 10 out of 10 here, but we're just going to kind of just see what we can get running on it. At least get first impressions. There we go. All right. So it actually, I think all these folders have games in them. So you've got PS1, Vertical Arcade, CPS games, Neo Geo games, Final Burn Alpha hack game, MAME games, GBA, NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System with a Saturn controller, Mega Drive or Genesis, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, it's a wide Game Boy, PC Engine, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Game Gear, and WonderSwan Color. So I guess since this is a Game Boy clone, I just kind of want to go in blind. I have not really played a ton with these. I just fiddled around with it a little bit. But I figured we'd find something basic here. Wow, that sound is annoying, isn't it? But we're leaving it on. Deal. I wonder if they have Tetris on here. So you can actually fast scroll. No Tetris. All right. Just try a basic here, just to see how it works. So there it is. It does a widescreen stretch on there. Like it looks like, I don't think that's original. The original aspect ratio. Let's take a look. Interesting. So the menu has no, and I'm going into this blind. We're all learning this together. The menu gives you exit game, save game, which is your save states. Yeah, looks like you have 5 save state slots. You can load them. There's a restart, video display effect, which probably means no filter, dot matrix, which is probably like an LCD display, HD. We'll take a look at what that is, and scan line. So I'm going to leave that there, and then the backlight, you can change it on here. I'm actually curious. Well, Game Boy runs. This actually looks really crisp in person. It's just this camera is not amazing here. But let's take a look. I actually want to try something non-Game Boy related. See if we can, let's pull up GBA, because that'll let us know what the aspect ratio looks like, right? So, if that answers your question, it stretches it to 4:3. And I'm going to go into the menus here, but I have no way to change that. So, no, you forgive me. I have to look at the comments every once in a while, but there is no RetroArch. They have shipped it with a very, very bare bones firmware on here. From what I understand, we already have at least a couple developers that are looking into getting some stuff in here. Don't quote me on this, but I think Sean Inman was saying that he wanted to take a look at this, as well as you've got Black Seraph, who's going to be going putting variation of Lineage on here. So no RetroArch, and it looks like it stretches everything. So what I'm assuming this is going to be is this is going to be a device that probably is good for just handing off to somebody who doesn't know any better, because it'll run. But as you can see, Game Boy Advance should not look like this. So let's take a look here. I'm actually going to pull into the menu here, hit this, and see what these video effects do. Dot matrix. Okay, so it gives it like, it's hard to see on camera, but it gives like this LCD look. It's darker. It's like if you used an LCD filter in RetroArch. HD. It smooths it out. That's all it does, is it smooths out the pixels when that looks horrible. Scan line gives it like a CRT filter. And fast is what we were on before, which is just this like just bare pixel. So what I want to do is go out of this menu and pull up a couple of the games that we picked up for performance purposes. So the first thing I want to do is start with Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. This one notoriously is hard to run on low-end systems, and being on the Super Nintendo because of the chipped cartridge. I've heard that this chipset might struggle with games like this because it is an older chipset. It's only got like a 1/4 gig of RAM. So let's find out and see what it does here. I'm not going to leave on any filters. We'll be able to tell immediately from the beginning once we hit the menu screen. And there it is. And I'm just going to answer questions as I see them. So there was a question about the battery being removable. No, it's glued into the back of the shell here, so you'd have to take out all these screws to get it to come out. It is not a removable battery. I want to make sure I stress this. This is not really a competitor with the Miu Mini. It's bigger. It is definitely like the size almost as a 353V. Yeah, even this is stretched out, it almost looks like. I wonder what the aspect ratio is on this, actually. Something here doesn't look right. That's interesting. Somebody was asking how we found this new console. It's not released yet. Part of Retro Handhelds is, we do a lot of video and written reviews. I'm part of that team, so occasionally I get one of these review units. You will see a more formal review. This is just kind of it showed up today. I had some time, so I figured I'd show it off, right, to see what we have here. But it's a neat little device, but I would not use this stock firmware. It's rough. Let's see what else we have here. We'll go back into that, but I'm actually curious how Klonoa runs. Forgive the fingerprints. Well, it can run FMVs, so there's that. Let's just give this a shot and see what it does. I mean, it's a cool little sized handheld. But yeah, the software is definitely going to need some work. As it is, it's, like I said, super bare bones. You have no way to adjust the aspect ratio. You have no rewind. You have no fast forward. There's a couple filters you can use. I'm not sure how well they'll affect the performance, but let me edit and fix this here. There we go. I believe that should technically outperform the Miyoo Mini. I am not 100% sure, but let's skip this again. But it should be able to run everything the Mini can run, and probably better. Oh. Well, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure the game just crashed. The controls feel great. See the save files there. I wonder if I hit a wrong button or something, or if it's actually, yeah, it's crashing. Interesting. It tried to pull a save and it crashed. Huh. I don't have a lot of expectations for this device, so. One thing of note, I loaded this up with some of my ROMs for PlayStation 1, the copies of the games that I have. They're in CHD format, and they would not load. Like, it didn't even see them. I had to put bin Q games in here. So we'll see what this does. Tekken 3 opens. No, there's no heat to it. I don't think this thing is at all going to generate any sort of heat. This is way too low of a spec device for that. Oh, this seems to run okay. I have no way to run any sort of, like, forgive me, I don't know how to play this game, but I have no way to put a like, I don't know what the FPS is going to be, but it looks like it runs. I mean, I'm not seeing any stuttering or slowdown, at least as far as I can tell off the top of my head. So, Klonoa crashes. To be fair, that could be the ROM. Tekken 3 seems to work okay. Let's see what other games did we put in there. These are the ones I put on. But this is 100% a stretched aspect ratio. You can notice the Game Boy Color did not come in this aspect ratio. Screen colors seem fine. I don't have a good way to compare the two on this camera, but I'm not noticing anything that looks weird. Let's see here. Sorry about the focus issues there. Oh, would probably help if I stop hitting the wrong button. There we go. No fast forward because no RetroArch. If that looks choppy on the camera, it's not in real life. Like, it looks smooth as anything. Is this game supposed to have music? Maybe not. Well, rest assured, Game Boy Color works fine if you don't mind the aspect ratio stretch. It seems comfortable. It's very light. I'm not a big fan of vertical handhelds, but I do like, just like with the 353V, they have these triggers and shoulders back here that are actually nice to just kind of like get locked in. These are not fun to use, but same thing here. You just kind of palm the bottom of the device up against, with your fingers on the triggers. It does actually. So the buttons don't. The shoulders and triggers do though. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's the shoulders and triggers. And I know it's them because if I put my back finger along the back here and shake it, there's like no sound at all to it. It's not super thick. No more so than the 353V or anything like that. Yeah, it's more comfortable than the Miyoo Mini. You could probably still play this one-handed, which is like one of the things I know that a lot of people talk about with the Miyoo Mini. You can still get around. I have bigger hands, so, grain of salt there. But, I mean, if I was just playing RPGs around, I probably could get away with doing this. Let's see what else we can run here. I wish I had a Mini to show you, but I do know that the Mini is significantly smaller than this. This is really not that tiny device. And I don't think it was really meant to be. Actually, one thing I want to do is I'm going to pull up the ROMs that came included on here. I wonder if... So these are kind of cool, right? So the volume buttons are mapped too. Forgive me, I don't know how to play the game. But there. Sorry, there's A and B. The controls are a little weird. There, now I'm used to it. This was definitely something that they were proud of when they put this on here. This is something that Anbernic showed up. Let me find an easier looking game, like a shoot 'em up or something. This is not the most comfortable claw grip thing to do. This game is for use in all countries, excluding the United States of America, Canada, Mexico, and Japan. Huh. Select for credits. I mean, the controls are a little funky because you're using the volume buttons up there, but I mean, if I had no other option and I really want to play these vertical arcade games, I'll take it for $50. I feel like this is the one thing that Anbernic was like, we really got to make sure to put that in there. Anyways. Yes, that is not the most comfortable thing. I bet there's probably a better setup I could do here. But yeah, this is gonna hurt your knuckles pretty quickly. It does have a sleep mode, so like if I go back into the game, you just hit the power. Or maybe it doesn't actually save or sleep. Maybe it just turns the screen off. 17, 16. We'll see if the timer goes down while it's turned off. Yeah, the comment is not a lot of people would buy these for those games anyways. Yeah, fair. I don't know, it pauses it. So it was 14 seconds, right? If there'd be a countdown, we'll wait a few seconds. All right, well, it's got a suspend mode. That's kind of cool. Vertical. That's funny. Oh, what else is in here? I mean, it comes with a whole bunch of stuff pre-installed as usual, right? But the sound is not amazing. I mean, it's a little Game Boy speaker type thing, right? So I mean, you can only do so much. And by the way, in that vertical, since you're using the volume buttons to control the game for A and B, you have to probably change the volume in here. Maybe you can't. I might go back to that. The classic AAA. I'm not going to play a ton of this. I just want to see if it loads and everything. Klonoa crashed, to those who just popped in here a little bit later. Klonoa for the PlayStation 1 just straight up crashed on us after creating a save file. I mean, I guess I wouldn't call the sound tinny. Sam Knight, I wouldn't even know how to do that. I really am not an arcade game player.
You steal men's souls and make them your slaves. Perhaps the same could be said of all religions. Your words are as empty
I love the
as
voice
your
acting in
soul.
this game. I don't like the game.
Mankind ill needs a savior such as you. What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets.
There's no fast forward, by the way.
How about you?
Nice. Seems to run. I don't notice any hiccups or anything like that. Oops. Anyways. Yeah, I mean, that all runs. There was one question that was, and you have to manually exit from the menu. There's no key combinations for for save states or anything like that. So let's shut it down. Just press and hold the power button. Goodbye. Let's boot it up and see how quick it comes up here. $10, 11 seconds, something like that to get into the system. It's not terrible. It's Linux. I mean, we definitely want custom firmware. What else can I add here? I mean, is there any questions I can answer? Maybe light bleed, right? Like, that's a thing. Let me turn it off. Then I'll reboot it and just see what it looks like. I don't know if it'll show on camera, but I'll let you know kind of what it looks like here. There's a big white light bleed in that corner there, a bit in that corner there. This is fine. So, and this is on the lowest brightness setting, so which is pretty dark. I mean, not horribly so, but let's see if I can get this light adjusted. But I mean, this is as dark as it gets, and I'm in pretty low light here, so. Oh, hello. There we go. Chris, I don't have a Miu Mini with me, but I would say Miu Mini is probably maybe 3/4 the size of this. It's significantly smaller than this. This is definitely not Miu Mini sized at all. So, I mean, I don't mind grabbing a couple devices for comparison here. No RetroArch. Nope, not on this. We are looking at least a couple devs that are going to be doing some custom firmware. Black Seraph said he wants to try to put Android on it with a 1/4 gig of RAM. That's going to be interesting. But I have faith that he'll be able to work it out. Another size comparison here. I mean, it's small compared to like the 505. Oh yeah, it does. It definitely handles PS1. I'd say better than the Mini. Now this is again with stock firmware, and I've only been able to play a couple games. But Bloody Roar 2, or Tekken 3 ran fine. We'll try another hard to do game here in a minute. What else have I got around here? Oh, stack of Anbernics. There it is next to the dusty because it's been in the workshop. Next to the 353P. There's no touchscreen, by the way. So if it does get Android, there won't be any touchscreen, as far as I understand. No Wi-Fi. So that's fun. At least nothing I can tell as far as on the actual firmware that comes with it. There's the 552 next to it. I've been collecting Anbernics lately. Let me kind of go through the settings and see what's in here, right? So it's got a battery setting in here, which I think just shows you information. So this says 65% capacity, and I had this fully charged when we started. So we'll fiddle around a bit more and see what that says. Grain of salt on that reading, though. I'm not sure how well that's going to show, but it's got the shutdown if you don't want to use the manual shutdown. You can set date and time. Test your buttons. This is one thing about this style of D-pad. It's actually quite easy to hit those diagonals without actually going for the top or the bottom there. No, I'm purposely trying to do this. My 353V's D-pad was a lot easier to accidentally bump those. This one, I feel like I have to go for it manually because I'm just pressing on it. Like, it kind of hits that top corner a bit. But as long as I'm kind of going for it, it doesn't seem to be too bad. I have to manually roll it to do it, but it's really easy to do compared to like a PSP D-pad or something like that. It's cool that they put this in there, though. How do I get out of here? There we go. We can turn on and off the button sounds. We were looking at this earlier, but there's a bunch of different button themes, including Angry Birds. A couple different backgrounds. You can change the language from couple different languages. I don't know what schedule power off is. Backlight time. I think this is just how long it takes till it fades out if you leave it for a while. The brightness. Now, again, this is on the lowest level. The highest is significantly brighter, but even then, this is not that bright. I didn't notice this. So you can map some buttons to like the joysticks. So probably for PlayStation games, you can either that or maybe it has to do with like adding a gamepad or something. It doesn't help that the English on this is kind of rough. Clearing history. I'm going to say no because I don't know what that is. Oh, history. Like, so, okay, the list of games you've played, your favorites, you can clear that. I probably wouldn't mess with that. It's got a firmware version. So, but those are our settings. It's got a search function, history of the games we've played. I haven't marked anything favorite, but it's really bare bones. So let me see what is the D-pad raised up high. It's not terribly so. I'm gonna do it at a slight angle here. It's not that bad. It's high enough that it, you don't bottom out. I think it's fine. It does actually. It has a mini HDMI out. I will not be testing that on stream because I don't have the setup here with me to do it. But I would assume it works. You've got your full L2R2. These are the things that make all the rattling noise, but it's really not that loud. Like when I'm playing it, it's not that big of a deal. But I think that for the price, and this is just my initial takeaway, for the roughly $50 it's going to cost to buy one of these. As it is, hardware-wise, it's fine. The screen is decent. Like, I can't see a bunch of little pixels in there, so it looks good. The brightness is okay. The sound is fine. The buttons are fine. Probably better than fine, actually, on the buttons. It's actually not bad. I was kind of talking to Stubbs and the gang here a little bit about, who's this for and stuff. One, I think if you're looking for just a cheapo backup device that plays, PS1 and down without the joysticks, this is not a bad option for $50. If you're looking to gift it to somebody, I mean, technically it plays all those games right out of the box, right? Like the built-in card, this is what it comes with. So, I mean, all these games are on here. I'm assuming they all run fine. I didn't see anything in here that looked like really hard to run or anything like that. You get a whole bunch of different cores that come in here, so or different emulators essentially, so you can try, it's just if you wanted to do a cheap gift or if you wanted to get somebody into the hobby, this is probably a good entry level device. For anybody who knows better, I'd probably wait for custom firmware, or at least pick it up and then just have it ready for when the custom firmware comes. It will come. It's not like this is going to be on stock forever, but. Oh yeah, I bet they're cheaper in China. It's made there, right? So they come in 3 colors. It's this like frosted clear with the white PCB. There's a version that has kind of a clear purple, which is like the old Game Boy colors, and then the DMG color, which is like that light gray with the darker gray buttons and stuff. So they picked some pretty safe colors. I could tear it down, but there's nothing I can really do with it. So it does have those safety screws. Looks like it's about, 6 of them. The battery capacity is like 2,100 milliamps, which isn't a lot. It's like those old school cell phones size, like what we would find. It's probably roughly the same as like what's in a Mia Mini, honestly. So maybe roughly the same battery life. I'm curious what it says now as far as battery. 62%. So we'll see where it happens. It's kind of interesting that it has the voltage and charging current. I don't know if those are accurate or not, but I haven't seen that on another handheld. At least I haven't noticed it. I'm really excited to see what people can do with them, though, as far as like the firmware. It's a low spec device. And that was the other thing I was going to say. For the price and stuff, this is honestly like on par, in my opinion, with a lot of the handhelds we had maybe in 2020, maybe early 2021, where at that $50 price point, because remember we all had these like little miniature Linux handhelds and stuff before Android kind of took over. But I'd say spec-wise, it's probably roughly around the same as a lot of those. However, you have a lot of more modern accoutrements, like that video out. USB-C, we're not going back to, micro USB or anything like that. Still has the dual SD cards. The buttons are up and out of the way, and they're somewhat recessed, so it's hard to accidentally hit them, which is kind of a bummer for when you're playing those vertical games. I imagine there's probably a better way to hold this than what I was doing. Like maybe something like, I don't know, something like. No, and you know that's always a question with the custom firmware. One of the comments was talking about that. You know, you never guaranteed it, right? But I don't think we've seen a device that was common or like popular that didn't get it outside of like maybe GKDs or something. I don't know what the current status is with Anbernic as far as how available they're going to make this to be able to easy to work on. But I'd be interested to see where it goes. This feels kind of like a throwback from a couple years ago, but better. And for $50, I mean, if I had a little kid or maybe a sibling that was trying to get this, or a friend who didn't know better and was just wanting to see how it was, $50 Christmas gift ain't bad. I mean, it plays all the games. It's just for like for myself, if I'm playing, it's a good like GBA game or something. I mean, this is not going to play in 3.2, I bet. So. Because it looks like it's using the full screen. I'm not the expert when it comes to these specifics, but I wonder if Mega Man X is on here. Russ always uses that one, right? Rocket Man. Probably not. You can't hold it down either. Did I just see? Huh. Antova Monogatari is on there. That's interesting. It's just not a game I expected to see on a stock SD card. There's 167 pages of ROMs that are on here, by the way. I guess I could have probably tested. Let me take a look, and then we'll take a look at the. No Mega Man. Unless I'm missing it. I don't think I am. Is Rocket Man like the Japanese version of that? Probably. Yeah, it looks like, it says Mega Man 7 there. Thank you, Sam Knight. I'm not a Mega Man fan, so I didn't know. So yeah, it looks like there's a couple different wrongly named ROMs in there, at least for the Western market, right? We can at least look at the scaling on there. Oh, there you go. The scaling is not correct because I've never seen a life bar that looks like that for this game. It's not even uneven. It's like just straight up blended together. So yeah, I mean that's what this tells me, that it's stretching it to the screen, to the aspect ratio that's on here, and that's going to go for all systems. And like I showed before, there's no way to change it at all. You can change the video effect. So I could change it to scanline. And then it has like this like CRT look to it. It's kind of probably hard to see on there, but it's got like a scanline effect to it. One thing I don't like about that is that if you change it on like a Super Nintendo game, and then let's say we exit the game, let's go to a different system entirely, like, why not PS1? Open Crash Bash. And I can already see it, but it saves the filter. So it's a system-wide setting, not a system isn't like this whole thing, not like game system, not emulator specific. I can just turn it off, but it's just kind of weird that it leaves that on. It's like if you turn on CRT, but then you turn on like Game Boy, it's weird. So, what else? We can try Bloody Roar 2. I think it actually has bilinear, but it calls it something else. Let me actually run that again, see what it does. Should have saved the state. I'm totally stealing Russ's techniques here. Sorry, buddy. All right, so it has, like I said, fast, which is just no filter probably. Dot matrix, which makes it look like have an LCD grid, like for like old handhelds. Scanline, which is that CRT look, and then HD. I'm actually going to try that out. Yeah, same thing. And HD just kind of smooths out the pixels. So it gives it that like blurry look. Oh man, sorry, the camera's not picking. There we go. But it might be hard to see, but it's got that like, that like blurry look that, when we turn that on RetroArch. And fast is just the standard as is, which looks great except for it's stretched. So. Hardware-wise, I think we're there. Hardware, I have no issues with. That little rattle of these is kind of annoying, but it's really not that bad. But yeah, I'll try Bloody Roar 2. I know you've been waiting. External. Forgive me, a game I don't know that well. I was talking about it earlier. It comes with a screen protector, but I already threw it away because it has curved edges to the screen, so it doesn't really work. Probably shouldn't have skipped that. The new breed. I have no way to display the FPS. I'm not like super well versed with this game, but I mean, if it's like just suddenly starts slowing down, I think I'll be able to tell. Watch it crash. I don't think it's slowing down. I don't know this game well enough, but it feels for a PlayStation fighting game. Hey, look, it hit me back. I'm just button mashing. I don't know how to play this game. Yeah. Anyways, that seemed to run okay. Yeah. I mean, if it runs fine on the Miyoo Mini, I'm sure it runs fine here. So, performance-wise, we're there. I didn't see any issues. Now, again, the only thing that came up earlier was that Yoshi's Island, which, again, I know I'm not the best person to be on here doing this, but and if there's a specific game you guys want, I can always put it on here. I've got a hard drive full of all my ROMs and stuff, my legal backups. So, oh, there we go. I don't have F-Zero, at least not on the at least manually, but I'll check the stock card. But I do have Star Fox. Let me move my microphone real quick. Okay. I mean, Bloody Roar ran fine, so as far as I could tell. This feels right. It doesn't feel choppy or hangy or anything, which is a good sign for when we get custom firmware. I'm not good at this. Anyways. Trickshot's asking if there will be custom firmware. Black Seraph has said that he would like to try to put Android on this, despite the very low RAM of the device. So I'd be really interested to see if that works. And there was a question about Yoshi's Island. I think it ran fine. I just don't know it well enough to know, because I know that intro screen like runs kind of weird anyways. But we'll get to the mouthfeel, don't worry. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but this looks right, I think. Like, I don't feel like it's more choppy than like just the game is on its own. How does it taste? Like, how do I put this? Like a manila folder dipped in banana pudding. Oh, aftertaste. Hello. But yeah, I mean, it seems to run okay. Perfect. So if you check the chat, Stubbs is going to be putting this up, his actual review. So once we're done with this little preview, keep an eye out for that. The SD card, at least that came with mine, did have games installed. Yes, quite a few. It's a little 64 gigabyte card. I put my own card in there so I could put in the second slot, so I could have my own ROMs that I legally own in there. And honestly, it's kind of cool. You turn it on, and it just asks, you know, like when you go into the game section, it just says you want to use the external card or the internal card. So this feels great. This feels good. All right. Well, we were worried about the Super Nintendo performance of this, but I'm not really worried about that anymore. So. Okay. Donkey Kong Country 2. I wonder. I know it comes on the stock card. I don't have it on this, but. Not to steal Stubbs' thunder, but. Yeah, I didn't see any either. Screen tearing was the question. I didn't see any. Stubbs will have a much better looking video as well. So, let's see here. Seems to run okay. But I bet you it'll stutter if I get to the harder spots, because I know that this game is notoriously kind of a pain in the butt to run. Anyways. I'm not well aware of this one, but oh well, there you go. Check the chat for the details. Stubbs knows what's up. Until we get source, no Linux custom firmware. Serif's or Android build would need to be at least version 5 for RetroArch. Now, are you sure about that, Stubbs? Because they recently released RetroArch for Gingerbread. I didn't know either until I looked it up. I'm going to be putting that on my Xperia Play to see if I can get it to run. Stubbs, I don't know if you were in here earlier, but did you get a chance to try the vertical arcade stuff? I thought that was kind of the neatest, like, random thing, but what a random, like, assortment of games. I like how some of the art is scraped for, like, the first couple pages, and then they just, like, don't. And I'm sure you can scrape your art. I don't know what the file structure looks like because I don't have a Linux computer to access the internal ROM set on this, but well, then let me show this off again. I thought this was kind of cool, like a different game. What's Blue Hawk? I don't know any of these arcade games. We have to go sideways. But we're still trying to figure out how the best way to hold it because this is not super accurate. So let's add some coins. And get that in line there. This is why I don't usually do the reviews, because Damien can't play video games very well. I guess I could just hold it down. There we go. Ah! I mean, like I said, ergonomic-wise, this like vertical thing isn't like amazing, but I mean, it's playable. I mean, you only got 2 buttons, right? I wonder. Look. So it actually does. I was asking about this earlier. So it does have a speaker volume thing in this core. So that's interesting. It's Batman Ninja Baseball on there. What is that? What system runs that? Batman. Oh, MAME Arcade. I guess I could probably look in there. I don't even know if I'm in the right section. I don't believe the. Oh. I spoke too soon. Ninja Baseball Batman. It's in there. It came shipped with it. Let's see what it does. Oh, that looks good. There we go. RAM okay, ROM okay. Remember, winners don't use drugs. Remember all the arcades when we were kids, like back in like the Pizza Hut and stuff? Because I should be looking. The main menu? Let me go back into it. That's funny. How the sprites stayed there. Is it stuttering? I haven't noticed. Oh, when the splash screen's rotating, let me do it one more time, just so I can see it. I think it's cool how it keeps the sprite there. When it's rotating, he says. I think it's a man with a bat, not the Batman. I mean, just after when the game starts. Okay. I love the art. That may have stuttered a little bit. Game runs fine. Oops. Anyways. I know, right? Like, there's a lot of features I'm so used to that that I don't have. So we've been on for about an hour, and I'm actually curious. I'm going to exit the game. No, it's a man with a bat, thus a Batman. So let's see what the battery says. So we've been on for about an hour, and it says 49%. So according to its own operating system, 2 hours of gameplay. Now, that being said, yeah, it smells like a plastic handheld, Stubbs. That was the question if I did a smell test. I mean, liking not having a FPS counter. I mean, it's good for just pick up and play and stuff, but I mean, come on, we're all a bunch of weirdos here. We want to know, right? So, if I would recommend this versus the Powkitty V90, well, this runs games better. Like it's clearly a more powerful system, but we don't have any custom firmware for it yet, and the stock stuff is not what I would consider playable or at least acceptable for us. People that are into this hobby. Somebody who doesn't know or just wants to, like play some games when they're kids and, they don't really do much emulation and stuff. Sure. But, I mean, if you're in the, a geek into all this stuff, probably not. For the price, it seems great. Packrats HQ. I am mostly joking, but the battery, I charged it before we started. We started a little over an hour ago, and it says 48% on the capacity. Again, I don't know if it's going to actually, how accurate that is. Notoriously, in this, these Linux handhelds, this is not accurate. I would not trust this. If we get custom firmware on this, though, this thing's going to be real interesting. I wonder what other systems I can play here that are kind of fun. I mean, I guess it wouldn't make sense if I didn't at least look for... Let's try the search function. Wow, look at that. That's kind of cool for what the system is. Oh, look at that. Anyways, the buttons are fine. They're the same as the 353V. The device is maybe a centimeter shorter. Sorry, maybe a centimeter and a half. I'm an American. I don't know, but actually, hold on. I have something we can use. One sec. So to line those up, this is not scientific at all, but I'd say it's roughly just under half an inch difference. 4.5 inches tall. Just over 3 inches wide, almost 3.25. Thickness, at least on the bottom half, is about a 3/4 of an inch. About an inch if you include the triggers. Screen is about 1/2 inch, so it's kind of cool. I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to the Miyoo Mini, and I really do want to stress that I know I don't have one in front of me. I'm sure not Russ. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sure Stubbs will be able to compare the two, but the Miyoo Mini is still significantly smaller than this. But the hardware on this seems to run games better than the Miyoo Mini. But the software is not there. You don't have any RetroArch, so yes, the firmware is not there. So it's interesting. It doesn't say what system it is when you do the search. So let me make sure I'm not wrong about that. It doesn't. So if you do a search, it'll give you all your results, but it doesn't say what system they're for. So this is probably Genesis. This is probably Game Gear. Yeah. I don't know if RetroArch will be on there. If we get Android on, it will. Like this is hard to run or anything. The Genesis port. It's funny. I love this game to death, but I hate playing it with D-pads. I mean, I don't mind. It's just, Oh. Gear up. There we go. Anyways, let's see what else we can do with it. So, someone was saying that I don't think that we're going to get Android for this price. Again, it's got a really low RAM, right? It's only at about a 1/4 gig, 256 megabytes of RAM. But Black Seraph, the guy who does all these Lineage OS, which is a flavor of Android ports, said he's going to put Android on this. So he said, challenge accepted. We don't have a touchscreen as far as I'm aware, but I have a feeling we'll figure it out. So the controls are fine. The screen is fine. Volume's fine. The audio quality's fine. Just the overall design is fine. Like, there's nothing offensive about any of this. Maybe less than perfect on the noise from this. The D-pad, as we showed with the test, is fairly accurate. I was able to rock to the corners on each side a little bit, but that's pretty normal for this style of D-pad. The buttons are okay. They're a little slippery, right? Because they're these, like, glossy plastic, but it doesn't seem to be an issue. I have not tested the HDMI out. You'll have to see another review for that. But the ergonomics are fine for a vertical handheld. It's just the software, which, if I was buying this off the shelf, I don't know. Again, like I said, if I didn't know better about emulation, if I just went into a Walmart or something, and I was just someone who hadn't played 16-bit games since the 90s and was like, oh, look, this thing plays 16-bit games, and I picked it up, I wouldn't know a difference. So, cool gift for a friend. I don't think we'll get Atom. That's based on an entirely different chipset, as far as I'm aware. I wonder what our battery says now. 45%. I don't think this comes with any Atari stuff. No. I don't know if there's other emulators built in that they just didn't include ROMs with, so the folders aren't showing. But I mean, for $50, this thing is still pretty neat. We just need options. Like, there's no. So this is interesting. The ROM names are these for FBA are the actual file names. That's interesting. CPS3. I don't know. You'll have to forgive me. I am not an arcade expert. I know very little to none when it comes to arcade stuff. This says CPS game. If there's CPS3 games in here, I probably sound like an idiot. I wouldn't know. SF3. Okay. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. Okay, well then let's find out. Uh-oh. I don't think there was a question comparing this to the 353 VS. I would say that they probably feel almost exactly the same. Like I said, the 353 VS is the same as the 353V ergonomics wise. It's the same shell, and I mean it's close enough. Unless it just hits your knuckle wrong or something, you'd be hard to press to really feel a difference. This might be slightly better for bigger hands, because you got a little bit more in the meat of your fingers, but it still isn't that bad. This design is actually really good. I don't think I've heard many people turn that down. Many people talk about that, but the way that these work, especially if you're not using the buttons, and even then you don't press onto them, there's enough resistance where you can it kind of just pulls into your palms. So I'm happy with it. Oops. Okay, cool. Let's see what happens. I don't see anything that looks like it's laggy. This actually looks really good. I'm not a fighting game person. So Anyways, it seems to run fine. So. I mean, if the prices aren't that different to you, we're talking about in the chat the difference between like the 353V line or 353 line versus this. I mean, performance-wise, it's not even close. I mean, this is getting you a lot of different systems that are higher end and stuff. You probably get better emulation. You get obviously custom firmware now. If the price difference does make a difference, or like I said, if you're just looking for something you can kick around and if it gets busted, you don't feel that bad because it's only $50. I mean, you could do worse. You could do way worse. The software is really the only thing that I have any gripes about, but this isn't even released yet. So, they may even update the software on their own. There's no Wi-Fi that I can tell. Stubbs, we were talking about Bluetooth, but I don't think it has Bluetooth. I think when it said 2.4, I think it was just talking about plugging in a controller to it, but I could be wrong. But I don't see anything in here regarding Bluetooth. I don't see anything in here regarding being able to connect to anything wirelessly. So. I mean, for $50. I mean, I'm not a fan. I didn't expect it to have Bluetooth. So, as a headphone jack, that passes for me. So, the no Wi-Fi thing, yeah. I mean, Mio Mini doesn't have Wi-Fi, and it costs more than this. So, I mean, I don't mean to sit here and just defend the thing because I have one here, but. I mean, you have to remember $50. Now, again, I don't know if they listed it as having Bluetooth. I could be wrong, but I don't remember the ad saying specifically Bluetooth. I said it said connect controller with 2.4 gigahertz, which I think that means that's a wireless dongle. Yeah. But again, this also isn't a Mio Mini. This is not that mini. It's mini-ish, but I mean, it's small for me, right? Like, I'm a big dude. I got big hands, so it's not that bad. Is there anything I can put this next to compare size-wise, or has this kind of been helpful? Control latency. I'm not, you're going to see this better in the reviews that we have, people that know better what they're talking about, but I haven't noticed anything. I don't know if there's any rhythm games on here. No. At least nothing that says so. I don't know any personally that are easy to get into that you can check it, but I didn't notice anything when I was playing it, so. I don't have an original Game Boy, sorry. I have a DMG that's in parts somewhere. It was somebody's art project in high school that I bought for $20, and I'm going to turn it into a custom build. Eames, one of our community members, eventually I'm going to tap him to make me a custom IPS back screen Game Boy so I can run LSDJ, the little game that makes music and stuff, but I don't have it with me in front of me. Sorry. Oh, perfect. Stubbs gotcha in the video that's coming out here in just a little less than an hour. I'm just trying to think of what else I can cover here while I've got you all here. We're down to 41%. I'm not going to run this all day. What I will do is I will find a game, put it on when we're done here. I'll find a game and put it on like a tracked mode, like Super Mario World or something like that, and I'll just let it run till the battery dies. And I'll clock it because I can see we're about an hour and 24 minutes into the stream, so I'll just add it to it. No Saturn. I don't think that this chipset is anywhere good enough to run Sega Saturn. Plus, they don't have an emulator for it. I was joking though earlier that their Sega Master System logo for the controller is definitely a Saturn controller. So it's kind of funny. Also, these logos are hilarious. Like the Game Boy here, it's like a super wide Game Boy. Yeah, well, Super Nintendo runs great. I did not see any issues with even with the hard to emulate games. Yoshi's Island, Star Fox, both of them ran just fine. Yeah, they both ran fine. PlayStation games Bloody Roar 2 ran with no issues that we could tell. The vertical arcade stuff runs great. Oh, look, an empty folder. Oh, no, that's mine. That's because that's me. Well, that answers that question. It has all the games here, whether or not there's a folder. So I imagine that there are no other emulators that are built in on this image. I'm seeing a lot of questions about the Miu Mini, and I know people are coming in and out of the stream. It's really hard to compare the two because the Miu Mini, I don't have one, mainly because the two I've bought have decided to kill themselves. But I would say, I think if I remember right, it's roughly about this size, maybe 3/4 of the size. Like, this is much bigger than a Miu Mini. It's not like extremely big, again, but it's, you know, it's a handheld. Like, it's. I'm trying to think of what else I have that's like size-wise that's in this space, like other than the obvious 353V. What else have I got on hand here? There's another 353 line. It's the M. So you can kind of see size-wise what that looks like. Sorry about the video quality there. I'm just using my backup webcam. Other one was giving me issues. Oh, we're all good. Let's see. Not thickness-wise, because this is a modded system, but you know, you can see it compared to like a PSP Go. I'd say it's roughly in that size. It's a little bit bigger than a PSP Go. Hi. This is a modded system. It's super fat, though. So, I mean, I like it. I think the hardware, like I said, the hardware is there. The software needs work. Out of the box, it's, you know, pick it up and play it if you don't know better. But for us, I would definitely. One thing we were talking about earlier is that for those that missed it, it does have a sleep function. So if you tap the power button while game's running, it pauses the game and goes right to sleep. Again, no custom firmware, so I don't think it has like an auto state save or anything like that, but it definitely sleeps and it holds your space. So it's kind of cool. I don't know what the battery life looks like in sleep, but down to 39. I still think my favorite part is I'm going to just switch it. There, we got the Angry Bird buttons. Well done. I'm trying to think of what else I can add. But every system that's on here, it runs fine. I didn't notice any issues. But it stretches the image, and there's no way to change that, which is unfortunate. System runs fine. Oops. So yeah, this is Sonic Pocket Adventure for the Neo Geo Pocket Color. Kind of a cool system. And I'm just going to say, those of you who know with the Neo Geo Pocket Color. But the hardware's, I mean, like I said, the hardware's great. The system, it runs really well. I'm surprised at the performance based on the price and what's in here. Yeah. But the aspect stretch here, yeah, that's rough. Okay, I gotta change these back. This is I don't like the Angry Birds. There. Cool. Well, unless there was anything else I could add on here. If anybody had any last questions. What I would suggest is that if y'all keep an eye on the channel, Stubbs is currently uploading his review that he just finished. It's going to be an actual review, like well done, first look and everything. You'll get much better video quality than what I can offer with my little webcam here. It's just I was the first one on the team to have it ready to go, so I figured I would just kind of show off what it is. If you're interested in picking one up, I believe they go on sale here shortly, or they already are. I don't remember. But I imagine there is no, multiplayer. I mean, you could probably hook up a controller, and then you've got the fun thing where somebody's here with the screen and somebody's looking over your shoulder with a controller plugged in. But outside of that, you could probably do that and then daisy chain it up with the to a TV with your HDMI out. Perfect. That's right. So they are on sale. Please feel free to use our affiliate link to support Retro Handhelds. But do support Anbernic. I think that this is going to be a cool little device. The software does need work, which is typical for the even the Android devices, honestly. But for the non-Android stuff, I mean, how many handhelds do we have come out that have firmware that's perfect to use right out of the box, right? Like, I wouldn't really consider that a complaint. It's just how easy they make it for the devs to be able to jump in and start fixing stuff. Yeah. I'm curious about the battery life. We'll report back on it. I'm going to, when I'm done here, when we cut the stream off, I'm going to pull open Super Mario World and just let it run. Because I think that's a good test, right? Like, I guess I could just do a search. Oops. Huh. Well, there's no Super Mario World built in, so I guess I'll just do it with Yoshi's Island. But anyways, I'll let something run that's in the 16-bit family in attract mode, and then just clock what the battery looks like when we're done. And I'll report back in our Discord and pin it. It's a good idea. Screen quality is fine. I believe it's the same that's on the 353 line. The dimensions are the same. Brightness felt roughly the same, although, again, it's really hard to tell. This is going to be hard to see if I turn on the backlight, but this is my webcam. It does have some light bleed to the screen, I've noticed, and I don't really see the individual pixels until I really blow it up like this. So, yeah. Yeah, I think the specs are fine. Actually, this looks really good with full brightness. It doesn't look good on camera, though. It's got some pretty bare bones settings and features on there. This is one thing that we'll have to test. It's got this buttons custom area, joystick buttons custom. I think this has to do if you plug in a controller to it. All these just say no gamepad. So, and I think that might be a remap function there. You can clear your history, all that good stuff. Yeah, no, yeah, the software is really where the issue is on this, but anyways, unless there was any final questions or anything else that I could easily test, I think I'm going to cut it here, and then you should see here within under an hour Stubbs' video go up talking about this bad boy, where you can see something in 1080p or better that's actually focusing correctly with good lighting. You want to see Game Gear? All right. Pack Rats, what Game Gear game should I play? Assuming it's on here. Oh, you're not even ready? I mean, I'm not playing Outrun again, so. I already did Outrun on Genesis. Let's do Space Harrier. I think it's on here. Let me actually find out. Let me use the search function. I still think it's funny that like it has this search function, but it doesn't tell you what system. Oh, well, there's two. There's two Space Harriers. I don't know which one's which, but we'll find out. Hello. Oh, does this look Game Gear to you? Probably not. Screen looks fine though. I appreciate that it goes back to this. That's the Game Gear. Password. Yeah. That's definitely the Game Gear version. Ooh. This is not the device. This is the game. Yeah, I would not recommend the Game Gear version of Space Harrier. There's no auto fire like setup. I'm not going to keep playing this, but there's no auto fire or anything like that. Resident Evil. I don't know if I have that one. Hold on. Oh, I do. It came on the device. I mean, it'll run fine. Like, I can't imagine there'd be any issues with this. But there's no scaling options or anything like that, which for PlayStation, this isn't the device for that, but we know FMVs run. If this has a big old intro, I haven't played this game in years. If this has a big old intro, then we're probably not going to sit through it. But yeah, KN, if you think of something, we were playing with some CPS3 stuff and it ran fine. I don't know if this is the best, but I can tell you it runs fine. Like, we've played much harder to run PlayStation games than this, and they did just fine. Virtual Boy. No, there's no Virtual Boy. You've got PlayStation, Vertical Arcade, CPS, which seems to be various generations of CPS. Neo Geos, I don't know what FBA hacks are. I'm going off of games. MAME, GBA, NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System with the Saturn controller, Mega Drive with the Genesis. Yeah, that's the Genesis. Game Boy Color, Game Boy, PC Engine, Neo Geo Pocket Color, Game Gear, and 1-1 Color, which probably has some normal 1-1 games, or we'll run them if you have them. So, hey, Sean. I don't believe so. I could not find anything in here. 33%. Shut down date and time, IO test button sound. Sean, if you're interested in anything in the settings or anything like that, let me know. But no, there's no file browser or anything like that in the system at all. There's a search function, but that's it. Yeah, no, it's what else can I add? The firmware is not great. There's no scaling options, so everything is just stretched to the screen. Everything. Virtual Boy, yeah. I'm gonna have to knock at a point for not coming with vertical or with Virtual Boy games. Sorry. We were worried about the Super Nintendo stuff early on because there was a rumor that maybe it ran Super Nintendo chipped games bad. I don't know where that came from, but it runs fine. There was no choppiness. There was no slowdown. It's not like a V90 where it's like, oh, it's a chipped game. It's going to run like garbage. It ran fine. So better than the Miu Mini. PlayStation games, we tried Bloody Roar 2 and it ran tops like perfectly. Yeah, man, that's it. So I'm going to go one more call out to see if there's anything else I missed. Ken, I was answering this earlier. They're pretty much the same. There's obviously some more weight because you've got those joysticks and about, I don't know, half an inch more, not even half an inch more, of the bottom there. Better speaker placement. But outside of the weight being a little less, it really doesn't feel that much difference. You've got these triggers that will pull it into your hand. A 353, probably a little bit more comfortable for me because bigger hands. But I'm already starting to feel, just after playing with this, my hands are getting a little cramped. A little bit. You can still one-hand it, but it's not as small as the Miu Mini. I don't know if I have Ape Escape. It won't work because I don't have triggers though, or joysticks. So I don't know if they would even bother. We do not have Ape Escape. It's probably for the best. Yeah, this system doesn't have the buttons needed to run Ape Escape. That's cool. $50. I really hope we get some custom firmware. That's all it really needs, in my opinion. And TBD on the battery. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to call it. Keep an eye on the channel. After this is done, probably not too much longer, you're going to see Stubbs' review come up and it'll look a lot better and it'll be a lot more in-depth. So, instant thoughts from me. I'm not the reviewer, but for $50 for a gift, just, hey, buddy, you want to play some old games when you were a kid and you were not into emulation, so you don't know what that means? Absolutely. $50, easy buy. So, comment about interchangeable batteries. I mean, they're always good to have, but there's a reason that even Miu stopped doing it on their minis. It's an expensive option. It increased the cost of the device. It's more engineering you have to do because you have to have more contacts and stuff like that versus just a plug that goes into the motherboard. So, I understand that it's definitely better to have the features, but for the price range, I'm not going to cry about it. Again, it's cheaper than a Miu Mini. So, and that doesn't even have it anymore. But I'm not going to knock it for not having it, but sure, of course, it'd be nicer to have it. I will, like I said, I'll let you guys know on the Discord what the battery life looks like. I'm going to cut out of here, though. I appreciate you all stopping by. You know, if any of you are new to the channel, keep an eye on our weekly show, on our long form podcast when we have those come out every couple months. We have random reviews and little skits and stuff. And of course, be in our Discord. That's where all the fun really is. So come check it out. Come check out the 35XX channel. I'll let you know what the battery life looks like. And I'll talk to you guys later.